partially blocked. Russell on the run out. Ruthless ramming it home.
Hey guys, what is up? It's your boy, Chef Dinner here. This is just my camera. We're back with another sports talk video. I got some sports news coming up right at ya. We're going to start off today with the NBA news. So, we are getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the NBA is the big return to their playoffs on July 31st. We have some news with that. A lot of the teams, or all the teams, have right at their bubbles. At the bubble, they're staying at their resorts. Getting the food supplied them by the NBA. And I've been watching. If you don't know, a player on the 76ers. I think it's I can't remember who it is, but a rookie on the 76ers. He is vlogging his whole experience in the bubble by day. So I think he's on day 3 right now. It's a pretty good series. It shows insights in the bubble, what it looked like, what his room looks like, what the food is like. It shows him kind of with other players, like Joel Embiid was just in the last episode. So it's really interesting. I recommend you check it out. But it does look pretty good in the bubble. Not gonna lie, if I was an NBA player for whatever team I played on, it looks pretty good. All the practice facilities look nice, and all that looks very, very, very good. So in some other news on NBA, Rajon Rondo, player for the Lakers, got injured. He fractured his thumb due to a pre-existing injury he had on his thumb. So it said he'll be out for a couple weeks. I think it was maybe 6 to 8 weeks. So looking at the schedule, it looks like he'll probably miss all of the seeding games, which won't really matter for the Lakers. But the Lakers will definitely make the playoffs. So he'll hopefully be back in time for the playoffs. He might miss the first round, but I feel like he'll be back. Probably for the first round, maybe first round, but I don't think he'll miss more in the second round. So hopefully he gets better with that. Russell Westbrook, he contracted the COVID-19 virus, so he'll be out, I think, for 2 weeks. And then I think a player on the Kings got the virus too. I can't remember who it was. I know a lot of players, or I saw that players I try to get like Grubhub or like DoorDash and stuff to the resorts. But I know you're not allowed to do that. I know it breaks the rule. But other than that, seems pretty fine. Some NBA players are enjoying it. So it looks pretty good. And the first NBA game is played on July 31st. So let's move on to NFL news. So NFL news, the Redskins officially announced they are going to 100% change the name. So this is for confirmed. This is for sure. They are definitely changing their name. I know that they have a list of things they're thinking about, where they're like the names they are targeting on. I know that includes the Red Tails, the Red Wolves, the Warhogs, the Freedom Fighters. So a lot of very interesting names. They're all being looked at to determine what their new name is going to be and how it's going to impact Washington and not only impact the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see what the new redesign is. I can't remember what the last redesign where they had changed like a team and a logo and all that. It might have been when the Charlotte Bobcats went to the Hornets. I may be wrong about that, but I don't remember. But I'm really excited to see what the new logo is, and they'll probably be ready by the time the NFL season does come around, which is pretty soon. So they should get ready for that. And other football news: Jason Peters returned to the Eagles. He signed back there to play again. That's other than that for NFL news. Not really any big NFL news for this week. So let's right moving on. We're kind of chugging along here to MLB news. So the MLB has their first exposition games are coming up. The first exposition game was played on July 18th at 7 o'clock, which is the Cleveland Indians versus my favorite baseball team, the Pittsburgh Pirates, which will be live broadcasted on the MLB Network. So it is technically the first baseball game, spring training, summer camp we are getting in a long time. We haven't seen any baseball games played since March, so it's going to be very, very good. We're finally getting some MLB action in there. I am wearing my Mike Trout Red Angels jersey today. But the actual regular season starts on the 31st, beginning with the Yankees and the Nationals on ESPN. Other than that, there have been a lot of inter-squad games where we get to see some players really shine. We get to see some cool things like Aaron Judge hitting a homer off of Garrett Cole, which was pretty cool. I think it might have been like a second deck home run. We had many incidents, like Masahiro Tanaka took a big liner. I might have mentioned this in my last one, off the head by Carlos Stanton, but he was ended up fine. He had some mild concussion symptoms, but he was fine, right back on the field again. But other than that, I mean, we're just getting closer and closer. But also in MLB news, Yasiel Puig finally signed to a team. So if you don't know, Yasiel Puig was one of the free agents for the 2020 seasons. He played for 2 teams last year. He was traded by the Reds during the trade deadline to the Indians. Played a couple games there, or pretty much played the rest of the season there. Then he didn't know what team was going to sign to. Now there was many talk for the Marlins and the Rays and the Giants were going to sign him. But then when the season got postponed due to the virus, he said he was going to wait to see if there was a season to sign to a team. And there ended up being a season, so he is signing with the Braves. The Braves have a really nice outfield now. Marcell Ozuna on left. Got Ronald Acuna in center. And then probably Puig in right. But they're probably going to have Puig play designated hitter. They probably won't have Puig play in right. But now that Nick Markakis opted out of the season, they probably might have him play in right and kind of alternate with DH. So that's going to be pretty cool to see if he finally signs to a team. Wonder how he's going to fit in that Braves environment. That really goes on with MLB news. Not on any NHL news. All we have is the qualifying round start on August 1st. Nothing really new there. But now we're going to go into WWE wrestling kind of news like that. So in WWE news, we had Raw and NXT this past week. So this Sunday is Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules. So I'm going to give my predictions here. I forgot to get the match card, actually, for the pay-per-view. Let me just get it up here real quick. Now, there probably is going to be a pre-show match. There's not been a pre-show match confirmed yet. But I have the 6 matches that have been confirmed for the card. So the first one I want to talk about is Apollo Crews versus MVP for the United States title. So the United States title got a full brand new redesign. So I'm guessing the winner wins the title, I guess. I know Apollo Crews in the promotion and stuff, he still holds the old design. So I think he just wins that. I don't know. But he goes 1-1 with MVP for the United States title. Now, in my prediction, I think Apollo Crews will win this match. He is definitely going to win it. Or I think he will, because now I know that he was a part of Paul Heyman's, the young people they wanted to promote when they wanted to have talent out there. Since Paul Heyman kind of they had him leave his job and gave Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon kind of to run both Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if those young talents are going to be in limbo or whatnot. But MVP, I mean, I think he has some sort of chance he could win the title. I think it'd be his 3rd United States Championship, but I think it's going to go to Apollo Crews. I think they're going to have his reign last a little longer. I think they might continue this with Bobby Lashley, but I think what they're going to make do is they have this continue in a SummerSlam and then have Lashley win the title from him at SummerSlam. I'm actually going to talk about SummerSlam in a second. So next we have Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in an eye for an eye match. Now the match can be won when one competitor when he pulls out your eye, and that's how you win. So there's a rumor that this is going to be another cinematic match, making us have 2 cinematic matches on this card. And it apparently ends by a CGI version of one of the opponents, which is probably going to be Seth Rollins, getting his eye pulled out of his skull. So I think that Rey Mysterio is going to win this one because they have it's kind of like a mini advertisement kind of like picture that they had for the promotion was that so I think Seth Rollins, Rey Mysterio will win this one. And maybe they could have Rollins win, and then maybe Dominic have his debut match at SummerSlam and then beat him. Or they'll probably do something like where Rey, he pulls his eye out, and then they'll say the Messiah, he bring back his eye, because they're not going to actually have him go in his eye and pull it out. They won't be they'll get sued. So yeah, they'll have that match, but I think that's going to go to Rey Mysterio. The 4th match on the card, what's here is the 4th match, or the next match, is Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt in a Wyatt Swamp fight match. So in this match, it's going to be another cinematic card where they go to the Wyatt Swamp where he was back in 2013, 2014, when he first came to WWE with like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, the Wyatt family. When Braun Strowman was added in, I think in 2016, 2015, it might have been late 2015. But this match is going to be a really probably good match. These are 2 competitors who have met in the ring, I think, one other time. It was back at Money in the Bank for the Universal Championship, but that at the time was just a one-off feud before we went on with that little Miz and Morrison feud. Backlash. This is gonna be a really good match. There's gonna be power wrestling. There's gonna be kind of like psychological torture with Bray Wyatt and his character. Now Braun Strowman will. Now this can go two ways. We're gonna have Bray Wyatt win, and then Braun Strowman challenge him to a match for the title since it's a non-title match, and then the Fiend character come out. Or we could have Bray Wyatt win, and then Bray Wyatt say he deserves to have a title shot with the Fiend. I think they're going to go the Bray Wyatt route. I think Bray Wyatt is going to win this match, and that Braun Strowman will power out him at SummerSlam. Because I think that they're trying to do what the feud of Roman was going to be. Because you don't know, Roman Reigns was the original Universal Champion. He was supposed to beat Goldberg to win the title. I don't know if that was always planned, but it seems like he was going to beat Goldberg to win the title. And then this might have been the original feud because there was rumors about SummerSlam that his opponent was originally going to be, I think it was either Bray Wyatt, Strowman, or a rematch with Goldberg. So Bray Wyatt does make the most sense. I think they're just going to continue on with that before Roman gets back into wrestling because he does not want to play because he is high risk for the virus due to his past with leukemia. Okay, so these next two matches are a part of a feud that I'm pretty convinced WWE will never happen. The Sasha Banks Bayley feud has been teased for many years. It has a long time coming, and they can either make it like one of the greatest feuds we've seen in a long time, or just completely utterly butcher it. What they're gonna do is completely utterly butcher it because that's what WWE does. Now, the next match on the card is Bayley versus Nikki Cross, and then we have Asuka versus Sasha Banks for their respective Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Now, here's what's going to happen. Nikki Cross, she's a good wrestler. I don't think she's going to win the title. Now, this is but I don't think Sasha's going to win the title. So if you're going to set up the feud at Extreme Rules, then you gotta do it. You gotta do it in a particular way, in a certain way that you can get it done and in the time. So here's what they should do. So first, you have to have the Nikki Cross Bayley match first, and you have to have Bayley Sasha almost cost her the match, barely cost her the match, where she barely gets a win, she barely wins it, and retains. And then when it looked like Sasha's gonna win and become a double champion, Bayley has to backstab her, causing Asuka to win and retain the titles, which then will cause them, maybe on Raw or maybe probably even SmackDown, even NXT even, to win, to have to lose their Raw Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, what should have happened is on Raw, since they defended their titles against the Kabuki Warriors and they lost, or they retained their titles, they should have lost the titles due to an interference. Butu, Sasha had a big mistake, or Sasha was big room with Bayley, and she caused her to lose and lose the titles, which would have caused Sasha would try to maybe forgive her by helping her win her match, and then Bayley would backstab her, losing her match against Asuka, which would set up the feud. You have to have Bayley be that feud. You cannot have Sasha be the face. You have to have Bayley as a heel because she just plays a great heel. Can't have Sasha as a heel. Sasha, I don't like the Sasha heel character. She's kind of not good at it. So yeah, so they're trying to set a big feud for SummerSlam. I don't know what's going on. And then next, the final match has been confirmed on the card is Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE Championship, in a match to be determined by Dolph Ziggler. So spoiler alert: if you have got to this part video, skip ahead. I don't know how far. Just skip ahead. I'll probably put in the description when to skip, but just skip ahead over, just skip, because it's a spoiler. Now, there has been a rumor that the WWE kind of leaked that the match is a tables, ladders, and chairs match. Now, it might be true, might not be true, because, okay, so Dolph Ziggler said he's going to do a match that WWE has never seen before, and it has a psychological element to it. Now, TLC we have seen before. There's literally a whole pay-per-view off the match itself. So this might be fake. It might have been like an accident, like maybe that was the plan, and they changed it to have Ziggler pick a new match or whatever. So this is weird, but honestly, I think either way, McIntyre is definitely going to win the title because of what the SummerSlam plans or what their new plans are with it. But I think McIntyre is going to retain. I don't think Ziggler's going to win the title. And that's that. So next, I'm going to talk about SummerSlam. So SummerSlam is the next WWE pay-per-view, which happens on August 30th. I think that's what the date is. Now, WWE wanted to have fans back, or some fans back, for SummerSlam. As you know, they couldn't do that because of the pandemic this year, so they had to play at the Performance Center. So apparently the original SummerSlam match card got scrapped completely. So apparently there was supposed to be another Orton and Edge match plan. Apparently Brock Lesnar was supposed to wrestle. Maybe he's even his final match. But he stated that he does not want to work in the Performance Center. He wants to wrestle with real fans in attendance, not the Performance Center trainees. And there was another match. I can't remember what it was. I think it was something Goldberg, maybe. There was some other match that had to be scrapped due to the virus and the pandemic. So they had to completely scrap the card. But another spoiler, the rumor is that McIntyre is going to drop the title against Randy Orton. That Orton will win the title, making him a 14-time champion. Not WWE champion, 14-time, I think, champion in general. He'll win the title. And then what they're going to do is they're going to try to have Edge come back for maybe, I think, the Royal Rumble Survivor Series, because they really want to put Edge in the title picture when he comes back from his injury he suffered at Backlash. Because they really want to push Edge as he came back. Edge did come back at the Royal Rumble. He had one match at WrestleMania, I think, got injured at Backlash by Randy Orton. So this is really interesting because Randy Orton next week on Raw is set to face the Big Show in an unsanctioned match, another match which is going to be really interesting. So I am very, very excited to see what happens in the future. Other than that, there hasn't really been any other plans or rumors for SummerSlam. There's just kind of predictions on what we can think is going to be the SummerSlam match card, but they want to really make a really big SummerSlam. But I heard they're not going to do a 2-night event like they did with WrestleMania. What they are planning to do is that they're going to have a WrestleMania, then they have Evolution 2. So if you don't know, there was Evolution, the women's only pay-per-view comeback for Evolution 2. Tonight on SmackDown, Alexa Bliss has a moment of bliss with a surprise guest. Now, it is rumored, probably most likely to be Stephanie McMahon to announce that Evolution 2 is happening. But it's probably Sasha Banks. It's not Sasha Banks. Probably Stephanie McMahon because there was a rumor that she was going to make a rare appearance on WWE programming, but it wasn't said what programming it was going to be. So it's probably Stephanie McMahon to announce Evolution 2 like she did on SmackDown. It was either SmackDown or Raw that one time. Or it's probably going to be like some Sasha Banks Bailey, something stupid, something dumb. But most likely it's going to be Stephanie McMahon. I also heard a theory that it could be AJ Lee, which is highly unlikely. I feel like it's more likely to be her husband CM Punk, even than be AJ Lee at this point. So that's really it for WWE news. SmackDown tonight with some other stuff like AJ Styles versus Matt Riddle for the Intercontinental title. We had the whole Keith Lee thing, Keith Lee becoming a double champion, and Karen Cross and all that, which I'm looking forward to. But other than that, that really covers it for sports news, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with gaming.